Number 5 on our list for scary predictions from the Princess of Prognostication for 2023 is a nuclear meltdown. Vanga predicted that soon another nuclear meltdown will occur at a currently unnamed nuclear power plant that will explode. Followers of Vanga have cited Chernobyl as proof of the oracle's soothsaying, believing that she predicted it years before it occurred. Now, if you need anyone to spell out just how bad a nuclear meltdown would be, luckily, and I use that term extremely lightly, we have Chernobyl as a harrowing monument to the dangers of untethered nuclear power. Chernobyl, if you don't know from not having seen the HBO TV show or the Call of Duty 4 level, which is where I get most of my information about world issues and politics, was a nuclear power plant outside of Pripyat that experienced a horrific meltdown. When Chernobyl's reactor burst, the blast was equivalent to the force of 500 nuclear explosions. Now, 1 is already just about the worst thing that could ever possibly happen. 2 is pretty bad. 500 is inconceivable, so I don't think anyone among us wants another one. There is obviously some worry with current conflicts over Europe that this could be what Baba Vanga is predicting. Outside forces and damage could trigger a chain reaction that leads to severe, long-lasting consequences. Chernobyl still isn't habitable by humans, and scientists estimate it won't be for the next 20,000 years. Which is a shame because honestly it does look like it could be a cool place to live. The sites are pretty cool. We can't afford another Chernobyl anywhere in the world with everything going on. In 1967 as well, Baba Vanga predicted that you would watch this video and give us a subscribe. It is just astonishing how well she was able to predict the future. Number 4, bioweaponry. I think we've all lived through enough biological disasters for one lifetime, right? I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with a bottle of hand sanitizer near me. Well, Vanga warns us that there could still be more on the horizon. One of her predictions for the near future is that she has prophesied that an unnamed big country will carry out bioweaponry research on human beings. She theorized that hundreds of thousands of people will be affected by these sinister experiments and that it could leak out into the rest of the world. Now, again, this goes without saying, but biological weaponry is banned worldwide. It's one of those things that really gets you into trouble. I mean, in 8th grade, I threw a booger at a girl and I was charged by the United Nations for biological warfare. The United Nations effectively bans any experiments or any conduct, such as stockpiling viruses and dangerous bacteria, but, you know, let's be honest, the UN says a lot of things and that doesn't stop everybody. There are some who theorize that bioweaponry is already being researched across the globe secretly. Things like weaponized viruses or chemical warfare, all very illegal, all very scary. I have played way too many of the Resident Evil games in my lifetime to not be terrified of bioweaponry. We've touched a bit on this subject on previous videos about Baba Vanga, but Baba Vanga predicted as well in 2022 that we would experience a new virus and a new pandemic. Recently, in 2021, researchers in Siberia uncovered 33 strains of novel viruses encased perfectly in ice, samples over 15,000 years old. Could this be what Vanga is referring to here? Personally, I think a secret organization making a bioweapon out of generations old viruses sounds way too much like the plot to a scary horror movie or video game than it does real life, so I'm very much hoping that Baba Vanga was wrong about this one. I mean, she's not always right, you know? You need a couple of them to be wrong to make the real ones stick out all the more. Number 3, virtual reality takeover. Hey, what's your favorite reality? Mine is occasionally this one, although I am pretty partial to some synthetic realities as well. It definitely seems like over the last few years I've spent more time inside digital worlds than I have paying attention to the world around me. I mean, can you blame me? Someone had to collect all those Korok seeds. Well, according to Baba Vanga, maybe we're all going to be spending a lot more time hooked up into our digital worlds. Vanga predicts that humanity is going to start absorbing itself into a virtual world. She said in 2022, people would spend more time online and in screens more than ever. Typical grandmother. It's hard to tell her she's wrong though. I mean, you're on a screen right now and I'm talking into a screen right now. We've seen the world become more online than ever in the past few years. Baba Vanga, you would have absolutely loved Black Mirror. They made like 5 seasons of that show. It was basically all about this. You don't really need to be a blind mystic with a gift for prophecy to predict that virtual reality is coming. I mean, Meta has made no secret about how they believe the metaverse to be the next greatest leap in human advancement. Although, if you want my advice, I think the visuals still need a little tweaking because I'm not sure that I want to leave behind all the beauty of the real human experience just to go live in a simulated reality where everything looks like I'm trapped in the loading screen for Wii Sports Bowling forever. Investors and tech startups are racing to be the one to perfect the metaverse, and I do think we'll get there eventually, 2007 graphics notwithstanding. Once we've plundered this beautiful world for all its natural resources and drained the seas and stars, I think we'll all come aboard Mark Zuckerberg's cold, desolate ark and live hooked up into the machine spirit. I'm very optimistic about the future, if you couldn't tell that. Number 2. Water scarcity. What is the most important resource humanity has? Cadbury cream eggs? No. It's water, of course. As much as we think of water as an infinitely replenishing resource, we're running out of it faster than any of us would ever care to admit. Only 3% of all water on the world is fresh water, and 2/3 of that water is tucked away in frozen glaciers. The World Wildlife Foundation dictates that somewhere around 2.7 billion people find water scarce for at least 1 month of the year. Vanga predicted that by 2022, the world would experience a global drought, leading to water shortages internationally. I mean, without it, we're nothing. And unless we all want to start wearing still suits like Dune, drinking our urine and sweat, we should probably try and do something about it, you know? Something on a big global scale, maybe, not just paper straws. Countries across the world are already experiencing shortages. It goes hand in hand with the rising temperatures seen globally, with temperatures in Europe nearing towards 50 degrees. The UK this year experienced one of its hottest summers it had ever seen, and this year our July was the 6th hottest July on record. Like ever. Like since they started writing down information about how hot it was. This is one of those times where being really high up on a hottest list is not actually a good thing. Now, much like most people, I absolutely loved Mad Max Fury Road. But I think the parts that I thought were really cool were the cool cars and the leather jackets and punching guys in the sand, and not the part where post-apocalyptic tyrant warlords control the world by hoarding what limited water exists and oppressing the downtrodden. So I'd like to avoid that if we can. Also, I can't drive, so I don't really know how long I would last in the wasteland. Number 1. Alien invasion. Our number 1 spot is also Vanga's most out there prediction. Like, out of this world out there. In 2022, Vanga claims that an alien life is going to arrive on Earth traveling on an asteroid called Oumuamua to scope out the situation here. The name is Hawaiian in origin, meaning a messenger from afar arriving first. Kind of feel like if there was ever an asteroid that would very likely contain an envoy of visitors from another planet, it would have to be that one. I mean, listen to that name. Now, this asteroid is real, and it is an object from another solar system altogether, passing through for an intergalactic sightseeing tour. Now, not to burst your bubble too much, but this asteroid actually has already passed through Earth's orbit back in 2017, but I guess they didn't see anything too worthwhile yet. You know what, aliens, I gotta say, this isn't really the best time for us to have company right now over. As I've listed off in this video, we're kind of dealing with some problems right now. We're still kind of cleaning up a little bit, you know. Give us some notice. We just need to clean out the cupboards, fix a few of our global catastrophes, end all conflicts, get everybody to be friends, and then we can have you guys over. Recently, NASA just deflected an asteroid in a historic moment, successfully deflecting an asteroid's course. Probably a huge flex to the aliens, letting them know straight up, hey, if you guys want to swing by on an asteroid and we're not feeling it, we can just push you out of the way with an interplanetary do not disturb sign. But don't feel too threatened about that, please, aliens. We were just trying out our new asteroid deflecting software. We're not the most friendly species, but if you guys want to come check out what we're doing, we can meet in the middle somewhere, maybe on some neutral ground. Maybe the moon. We put a flag up there, but I promise that's not ours. You know, we can just share that. Coming in hot at number 5 is the Rapture, a true vintage as far as doomsday prophecies go. The Rapture is a belief in Christian faith held by few, notably an American evangelical belief, referring to an apocalyptic level event that describes the day Jesus returns, which will be heralded by the pious, righteous believers being ascended to the heavens to sit up in the clouds and clink glasses with Tupac and Elvis, while those that remain will have to fend for themselves on the desecrated earth, which will be taken over by the Antichrist and his army of demons. Although when I describe it like that, it makes it sound a lot more like it's the plot to Doom. The Rapture has no specific date, instead sort of existing in a it'll happen when it happens kind of state, which means it's great for making predictions of, because roughly once a week, someone will say we've got the Rapture coming and thankfully be proven wrong. But the way things have been going lately, it's hard not to believe it could be coming anytime soon. We've got plagues, war, I think we just need conquest and famine, and we've got ourselves all the horsemen of the apocalypse neatly lined up outside a stable. To take a quick second to lighten your load, if you've been liking what we do at Top 5 Scary, why not toss a little subscribe our way? I promise we don't only talk about end of days prophecies. We keep it scary, but you know, we keep it light. Number 4. Vanga was a blind Bulgarian clairvoyant, famous for several predictions, a lot of which have worryingly come true. For example, many people believe she accurately predicted Princess Diana's passing this September attacks and the 2004 tsunami. Although Baba Vanga passed away in 1994, she left us with several worrying predictions for the future. She claimed in 2022 that we would experience another pandemic, as researchers would uncover a virus in Siberia, and there would be flooding and drought across the world, a famine in India due to temperature drops causing locust storms, and concerningly a virtual reality takeover. Already we've seen some examples of this coming true. The UK experienced the driest summer it had ever been since the 30s, being declared an official drought in August. France, Italy, and Portugal have all experienced record-breaking droughts as well this year. She predicted specifically Australia would experience a flood, and in July of 2022, Sydney experienced 4 months worth of rain in just 4 days, leading to flooding. So, okay. Some of the blind clairvoyance predictions are coming true. That's stressful, but what does she have for her future? Well, don't start buying lottery tickets just yet, because Baba doesn't have anything too welcoming. She predicted that by 2023, Earth will change orbit, and by 2046, people will be living for hundreds of years through advanced technology. That part I don't mind so much. I wouldn't mind some robot hands. By 2100, she believed that the Earth's orbit will have changed sufficiently that the Earth will have moved too far, and an eternal night will fall over the sky. Not to worry though, she predicted for us that the Earth and mankind as a whole would end by 5079. So it's only, nearly 3,000 years of dark suffering. Absolutely great for the vampires, terrible for us. Number 3. We all have an opinion on Elon Musk, I'm sure. Me personally, I still haven't forgiven him for breaking up with Grimes, and Grimes, if you're watching, I'm open. Regardless of whether you think Musk is a brilliant mind or just a moron with a Twitter account, he's been very outspoken about his fear of AI, warning that by the year 2025, things are going to get unstable or weird, in his own words. He's spoken out about it for years, opining that something needs to be done or regulated on an international level. Maybe that's why the guy is so eager to get off the planet and get onto a spaceship to Mars. This is something he is very passionate about, warning us that it's going to affect our lives in ways we can't even imagine. We are the first species capable of self-annihilation. It's hard to disagree. I mean, just in our lifetime, AI has already accelerated to technology once only thought possible in sci-fi. And if I have to be completely honest, not to be too pessimistic, I don't know if I trust humanity to be that responsible with technology. If you need some comfort though, and you're looking for a reason to not toss Siri into a blender just yet, Musk also claimed in 2011 that he would put a man on Mars by 2021, and I don't remember anyone talking about that too much, so he's not right all the time. However, Musk isn't the only notable tech figure who was concerned about AI. Stephen Hawking spoke out in 2017 and claimed that if left unchecked, AI could be the worst event in the history of our civilization. It brings dangers like powerful autonomous weapons or new ways for the few to oppress the many. I don't know about you, but if one of the smartest men to have ever been on Earth says that we should probably be careful for AI for fear of creating a machine race, Skynet, or maybe something that's going to put us all in the Matrix, maybe it's something to consider, Maybe not everything needs a Wi-Fi connection. Number 1. Nostradamus was a French astrologer, physician, and probably history's most well-known seer. He's like the Michael Jordan of predicting cryptic doom sayings and warnings. He's the original doomsday prophet, and while thankfully none of his more apocalyptic predictions have happened yet, he's been disturbingly accurate for the last 6 centuries, and his predictions have enlightened us just as much as they have terrified us. He was able to predict things no one should have. Most recently, seemingly accurately predicting the circumstances surrounding the passing of Queen Elizabeth and her succession by Prince Charles. Nostradamus made many predictions, but one of his most jarring is this delightful little passage right here. For 40 years, the rainbow will not be seen. For 40 years, it will be seen every day. The dry earth will grow more parched, and there will be great floods when it is seen. Okay, so 40 years without Skittles, and then 40 years of Skittles. That is the sole thing he is referring to vis-a-vis rainbows, right? I wish. Now, some have theorized that this could be referring to the scorching of a world annihilated after a nuclear. But it's also possible that it could be referring to a natural collapse of the world, from the climate changing worryingly fast in a lot of ways that are becoming increasingly difficult to control. 2022, for example, was the 6th hottest record year in human history, with countries across the globe experiencing record-breaking heat waves. The Antarctic sea ice hit another record low, and it might be hard to take that in any other way than the most pessimistic option, because it does kind of sound like the earth is going to grow dry and somehow also start overflowing with floods, and we're all going to start having to fight wars over water like we're in Mad Max. Much like what Baba Vanga was speaking of, things are getting dangerously close regarding climate change across the globe. Unlike most doomsday prophecies, this one has a very clear and concerning path that unless we make some serious changes, could stand a dangerous chance at becoming true. Number 5. Cthulhu is the most pronounced and widely recognized of all of H.P. Lovecraft's creations. The lovable Great Old One slumbers beneath the Pacific Ocean in a deep catatonic, dreamlike, death-like state. They say in his house at Riele, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming. Or, if you prefer the chthonic translation, Fungali Muganafa Cthulhu Riele Waganago Fuktaganer. Sorry, my lips really aren't designed to speak such beauties. Forgive my beastful ignorance. It encapsulates the group's eventual end goal to awaken their master, the Lord of the Watery Abyss, Cthulhu, to have his great city of Riele rise, and for the world to descend into the madness that will be brought on by his awakening. Why does the cult want this? Well, the cult serves the Great Ones in the hopes that their servitude will be met with reward for their hard work, and in exchange be granted a role in the new world brought on by Cthulhu's reign. The cult has existed as long as man has, being given life by the Old Ones, intended to serve the Old Ones from the shadows, then to free the dead Cthulhu from his imprisonment by the Elder Gods. Cthulhu can only be freed when the stars are right. When Cthulhu rises, and he will, in time, his dream song will spread across the planet, unavoidable, and within minutes we will see the world descend into insanity. Fits of violence, rage, internationally, the madness will be unavoidable. 7 billion people at once descending into unbridled lunacy. Man gibbering words not spoken for thousands of generations. By the end of the day, Cthulhu's rise, the earth will be unrecognizable. The skies stricken with colors never seen before. The natural order twisted into something sinister. Humanity shifting into something greater. All of this just from his rise. Hopefully it's pretty quick. Is that cult still hiring? Is there a way to avoid any of that?
Number 4, yes. As always, if you dig what we do here on Top 5 Scary, make sure to hit that like button. Comment down below what Lovecraft night terror keeps you up at night. According to Howard Phillips Lovecraft, Earth is the third terrestrial planet in our solar system. It's the home world of humanity. It has been inhabited and ruled by numerous species across a vast ocean of time. Sounds pretty on par so far. He got a lot right. Examples like Neanderthals, Homo erectus, and of course the great race of Yithians. The Yith. Yes, the Yith. Stop that. No, legend says that it's Cthulhu that's going to be the destroyer of all of us. Yeah, he's the one we got to watch out for. Fictitiously, of course. And also, watch that Baltic Sea anomaly. Is that a door to this guy's bedroom or what? Because when Cthulhu and the Old Ones wake up and destroy humans, which they're supposed to do like any day now, well, we'll know where to check at least. The Baltic Sea. But after us, of course, he predicts that long after humanity, Earth will apparently host a mighty beetle race, only to have their bodies and minds stolen by the great Yiths once again. Bow to your Yith lord. In time, the final inhabitants of Earth are apparently going to be arachnids. Yeah. Spiders, my favorite. Long after us, after Cthulhu has taken us all out, of course, lots of mind swapping and body snatching to come. It's apparently not going to be a great time. Lots of vehicle switching, apparently. And at that time, at least the shadow of time thinks so. These Yithians apparently did this millions of years ago too. They were like the OGs of planet Earth. There's some parallels I'm picking up here with the reptilians, the Greys, the ancient civilizations here, Howard. I see you, Jake Sully. I see you.
Alright, number 3, Nyarlothep. Nyarlothep, the crawling chaos, is one of the most powerful of the eldritch gods in the Cthulhu mythos. The nigh omnipotent entity serves the great god Azathoth, manifesting his will, and one day bringing forth the outer gods to our mortal realm, and seizing control of the dreamlands, universe, and all of existence. So, you know, all of it, in case that wasn't made clear enough. Nyarlothep is first described in the eponymous short story, Nyarlothep, wherein he is depicted as a tall, swarthy humanoid resembling an Egyptian pharaoh said to have risen from the darkness some 27 centuries ago. As he travels, the great Nyarlothep commands power, wealth, influence, a very large social media following, and he drives madness to men just by his mere existence, with widespread nightmares following him wherever he walks, collecting fervently loyal followers in a flock who will serve his manifestations. The narrator of this tale is swept up in this flock, and exposed to horrific visions caused by prolonged exposure around Nyarlothep. The narrator sees surreal, horrifying vistas of the universe being destroyed, humanity enslaved, and incomprehensible global madness. Understanding that he's powerless to do anything about it, he resigns himself to just another sheep in the flock. It's been prophesied that Nyarlothep is destined to be the god to destroy the mortal earth. Why? What is Nyarlothep's ultimate goals? indescribable. It's like asking if the sun has a goal. Nyarlothep seems to take a pleasure in submitting humanity to its mental torture, preferring to enslave and control all of us than outright wipe us all out, which is infinitely worse. The only comfort is that maybe we'd be too mad to even understand what's happening to us when he rises.
Number 2, Kin. We can't talk about the prophecy without talking about the prophecy. Look, I don't want to mess with him or his family. She's not only much younger and much stronger than the king of monsters, she's known as the Kraken. Yeah, that Kraken. Or the Secret One. She's the spawn offspring of Cthulhu himself. She's kinda terrifying. She's not only the daughter of the very thing that will end all of us, but apparently an essential part of the universe's great plan as well. Not only an overprotective, doting father, she's got big shoes to fill. You see, should somehow he be destroyed, pass on, Cthyla will birth him once again while assuming her father's role as the new Great One. Kinda like a never-ending cycle of cataclysms, I guess. As such, she's guarded by the Deep Ones below the ocean in what might be assumed to be the ancient city of Relai. Also called the Secret One, because the cult tries to hide all information about this titaness goddess, most famously by defacing the ancient columns of Geth, as her legend was recorded for millennia by the Greeks. Cthyla is the youngest of Cthulhu and his partner Idya, and prophesized for the destructible future. Project X was apparently a secret and failed attempt to kill Cthyla with a subterranean atomic missile, but it was no match for the gigantic red-bodied, six-eyed octopus crustacean monstrosity. Yeah, she's like able to alter her body proportions at will, as like enlarging her wings to fly or swim, 8 arms like an octopus. Terrifying to say the least. She has the ability to literally stand up and throw hands as well with like King Kong. That'd be a great movie. Cthyla versus King Kong. We love giant monsters fighting monsters around here. We hope you do too.
Number 1, Azathoth. In the crawling darkness, in the everlasting abyss, before there was so much as a light in the universe, there was Azathoth. The blind idiot god is a boundless cosmic entity and the creator of all existence as we know it. All of reality is no more than Azathoth's dreams that we inhabit. Nothing more than cosmic dust in the wind of an unconscious immortal being. If you're worried you're not doing a lot with your life, just remember, you're totally inconsequential in the grand scheme of things cosmically. You're nothing but dust in this guy's eyes. Azathoth is beyond everything. Beyond Cthulhu, beyond Nyarlothep, beyond Disney. Countless lesser gods serve Azathoth, to keep Azathoth tucked gently in its slumber, playing a maddening tune on innumerable drums to keep Azathoth lulled. For it is foretold that when Azathoth wakes, even for a few moments, the entire known universe will blink out of existence. Once the dream ends, so does mankind. It's prophesied that after Nyarlothep's return, the armies of Azathoth will rise as Azathoth wakes, and the entirety of creation shall collapse. Describing the abilities of Azathoth is impossible. It would be like trying to explain the history of the universe to a tree frog. We just don't have the mental capacity to understand or even begin to comprehend all of Azathoth's might. It exists beyond human concepts. It exists beyond physics. It exists beyond the universe. Is this coming across? Azathoth is everything. The stars, the skies, the cosmos, all of it is nothing more than a fleeting thought in the back of Azathoth's incomparable mind. And this is the core tenet of Lovecraft's work. We are just insignificant when faced with the unending power of the Elder Gods. It's impossible to stop Azathoth. It's not a matter of if Azathoth shall wake, and a matter of when. And when it does, we're going to be utterly helpless to stop it. Luckily, it's just a story, right? Right?